Well, here I am again, late. But I keep telling you I'm going to be late, and it's just nobody really believes me. And I read an article about yesterday from YouTube saying that you need to be consistent with your timing and your posting, whether it's a certain day, or what have you. And I guess all these people are young and don't have a lot of other obligations that are doing this. I think they're doing it for the money. So they don't have a lot of other obligations. I have other obligations. I have a family that needs, every once in a while, wants to see me or talk to me. I have people that want to hear these things, actually want to listen and see these things, which is in itself very surprising, but it's done. I had a friend of mine who has said he hadn't seen my face in 20 years. I do put up pictures every once in a while, and I pretty much look the same: old, fat, intelligent. Anyhow, uh, you know, I try to be, I try to do this, but it's life. Life takes over sometimes, and I'm not the kind of person that can be a block away and can run home. I can walk fast. It still take me 15 minutes to get home. So you have to understand that. You have to be willing to look for it. And like I said, I have videos that I put up. I try to put up every day that are posted. So you're not missing much because I don't really change topics that much from one to the next. It's hard enough to find stuff to talk about. I got these hang up calls. I just got one the other day. It's from the Internal Revenue Service, but I'm not going to worry about it because it came on a Sunday. And as far as I know, they don't work Sundays. So that's not, it's not a real phone call. I just check the numbers. You can do that, if you know what you're doing. Type it in and find out who's calling who. Uh, but I guess the big story, at least they're trying to make it the big story, is the Pope and Fat Boy are fighting. And the Pope doesn't care really. He's got a. He's not. He's just saying he should stay. Trump's saying he should stay out of politics. He's not staying. He's staying out of politics. He is saying that Christians shouldn't go starting wars, and that's not politics. That's just a point of view of the religion. That you're not supposed to be a warlike people. You're supposed to be able to sit down and negotiate things out. And granted, you're dealing with two stubborn people when you look at the leaders in Iran and in the United States. But there were other ways of going about it. They could have just bombed the crap out of the nuclear facility again, but no, because they want the oil, they want everything. I don't know what Trump really wants over there. I don't think he knows either. I think a lot of it's distractions from his policies in the United States. His now he's got an arch and he's got a tall library he wants built by the time the 250th anniversary shows up. I don't think either one of them can be done, and I think they're gaudy and stupid. And he's trying to do to Washington D.C. And in which I just found out today, he's taking over all the public golf links and he's going to redo them in his image or something. I don't know. They're not big enough to host a PGA tournament unless it's going to be uh, a miniature golf tournament, or something like that. Um, he's just wants everything to be his way, and he's doing these things while he's running a war. He's getting the okay to build the ballroom, which I would like just to see explode on him. Just or cave in or something like that. Because I told you, I building and I've been. I went to his casino, which was a luxury, supposed to be, top of the line and everything like that. I never stayed in a room in any hotel down there because I don't like hotel rooms. I don't care how pretty they are. It just seems to me there's a certain lack of privacy when you sleep in hotel rooms. So I just don't like that. So I would gamble in his hotel in the casino, and it was just depressing. I've said this over and over again. He has a way of expressing depression. You know, he thinks, and I guess maybe his friends do. I don't know that all this gold around and everything, all this glitter makes it, spectacular, and it's a big show. And it's not all about that. I mean, how do you bankrupt a casino? By doing stupid stuff like that. You know, people don't care what it looks like. It's got to be comfortable. The chairs have to be comfortable. You do not want them to get up after a little while. You want them to be able to sit there for hours. That's the difference between a casino and a dining room chair. A dining room chair is supposed to should last maybe 45 minutes, and then you start to feel uncomfortable. They're a little hard. The body can't take to get uncomfortable. Finish your dinner, get the fuck out. If you're at a casino, sit down, relax, have a cocktail, play cards, whatever. Stay there forever. Don't move. You can stay there for 12 hours. It's okay. Don't move. That's the difference, folks. And Trump doesn't understand that. He Trump wanted a casino where only high rollers would come. But even the high rollers were depressed in this place. You know, look at all the gold. Nobody's looking at the gold, dude. How many cards you want? Nobody just sits at the card table and looks up around and admires the place. You walk in, you look at it, you see it. Okay, that's it. The entranceway can be that, and then let's get down to the nitty gritty. Just make sure it's really clean. That the tables are clean, the rugs aren't sticky. You know, stuff like that. Nobody cares. It's just see you play cards. I'm not here to look at the place. Well, he thinks you're there to look at the place. You know, and it's a good thing back then he didn't have a lot of pictures of himself all around the place, or I never would have got to sit down and play cards. I would have thrown up and left. You know, casinos need certain things. They need security, so nobody messes with the people while they're playing cards. Nobody they can get out of the building. Once they're out of the building, you don't care what happens to them. It's their responsibility in the building, in the parking lot. That can be considered your responsibility. So you don't want that. You want them out of the building comfortably and on their way wherever it is they're going. You know, even though it's usually to another casino. I played a lot. I played most of my cards at resorts, casino called Resorts in Atlantic City. It was a lot of fun. The dealers were fun. They talked to you. We got to be friends with some of them. They were actually from up around where I lived and everything. Some of them, so we got to be friends with them. Didn't trust them. Knew they were trying to distract us, and they knew we were trying to distract them. That was a game, sort of a game, But we had fun, and I had a lot of luck there. That's the casino I walked out of, threw my last chip on 48 or something on the roulette wheel, and won $2,000. You know, shit happens, folks. All right. So, what's going on now? Oh, Pope and a Trump. That's just a silly argument. Orban, the leader of Hungary, he got thrown out of office, and he was a Trump type leader, conservative, fascist style, and he's gone big time. So they say, friends were lost by a lot of people. Netanyahu, or whatever, however you pronounce it, and the leader of Israel, and Trump, they both lost an ally and a friend in Europe. Ukraine, it seems to be a good thing for Ukraine, bad thing for Russia, which is a good thing for me. I guess I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. That's that's just a political story that I didn't follow that closely. I knew Trump admired the man, and I thought he had a pretty iron control. And when I heard it was elections, I didn't think so much about it. I figured he'd win right away, somehow or another. But no, he lost big time. People were fed up with his attitude, I guess. People didn't give him the money he expected to get. So I guess that he didn't bring the money, so that was it for him. Another lovely person in the news lately has been Kanye West, thrown out of England, told not to come. He's not coming in for the concert. He's not the kind of person that we want in our country. Too bad they can't do that with Trump. Throw him out of Scotland, get him out of those golf clubs. You know, I told you the story about that one in Scotland. That's the reason he hates wind, because they put the wind turbines right out offshore by the golf course, and he said it ruined the view. Gave you something to look at besides blue water, man. Jesus, get out of here. If it disturbed it, if it was between you and a majestic mountainscape or something like that, that's a different story. Between you and the ocean. Look here, the ocean's there. Look over there, the ocean's there. So you got something, wind turbines. What? So what? They kill birds. Yes, they do. If you put it in the middle of a migratory path, stray birds are going to get hit by people. The Empire State Building gets hit by birds every year. Hundreds of birds die hitting that thing every year. I don't see Trump demanding it to take it down. He wants to build skyscrapers that the birds can run into around his place. What a fucking idiot. And then you got JD Vance. Poor old JD. JD didn't like Trump, but he saw that Trump was going to win, and Trump had all the power of the people. So he said, I got to go with Trump. That's my ticket, my future. So he becomes a vice president, and that's pretty much a do nothing job, as you all know. So then he gets sent to. He becomes vice president, and he gets a job to go sit down at these negotiations that were not negotiations. And listening to CNN last night and listening to a couple of people that were on there that they were interviewing, the top people that were there were not really on both sides. JD couldn't make a deal other than what he was told to say when he went in there. He had no negotiation powers, whatever. He couldn't bend or flex anywhere. And the Iranians had to get, if they reached a deal, they had to go and get a confirmation from the higher ups back in the country. In Iran, they're in Pakistan negotiating, I think. And these people weren't going to show up, and the leaders were afraid of assassinations and whatnot, and drone strikes, taking their planes down or what have you. They're not traveling. They're not going in a negotiation table. They're not going to sit down and be a target. I mean, Trump's the kind of person, if J.D. Vance was sitting in a room and he wanted to wipe out the leadership of Iran, he'd take out J.D. at the same time. That's just the way he is. I don't know whether the troops would do it, but he'd do it just to get to what he wants. I still don't know what we're doing there, what the whole deal is. But let me tell you something. I didn't understand Vietnam that well either. When everybody told you we couldn't win, when the experts told you can't win that war. And it's pretty much the same thing as going on over there. Only difference is we have a lot of big bases in the area, so that, they can't supply the planes and whatnot. But I'm not sure I want to go to war over there, And to accomplish anything, he's going to have to put troops on the ground. This isn't nice. We surrender. We're going to do what you tell us to do. No, he's going to have to keep a presence there, a presence that eventually will be destroyed, because that's just the way that area is. You ever watch the old movies, the old black and white movies? with Earl Flynn and people like that, and talking about the desert and how it was when England owned, England went in and whatnot, the French Foreign Legion, whatever it was fighting battles over there, and you understood one thing: it was tribal. Every once in a while, a tribal leader would get together and he'd unite five or six, seven, eight, maybe 10 of the tribes, and they'd come out and they'd start fighting with whoever was the occupying force at the time. This was basically in Egypt at the time, and that's the way that part of the world operates to this day. It's tribal. You can't go around and do what you want to do and think you're dealing with a major force. You're not. You're dealing with what's this? I don't know exactly what you're saying, Jim. It's changing. Am I wrong? What's changing? Well, the world is changing, but the world changes every day. It's subtly in most cases. It's the big issue now. If you're, let me talk to Jim for a few minutes here. The big issue that you're trying to discuss here now is his health. If his health is what everybody's claiming it is, that his mental state is not what is damaged, and he needs help, and he's and some sort of physical problems as well, then you have to look around what's around, and there's nothing around. I mean, you've got a choice. You get J.D. Vance if something happens to him tomorrow, and I don't know what a good choice that is or not. I do know that if JD is president, he will negotiate, and he will, because he didn't want to be in where he was anyhow. But you got to worry about the people with the money and the influence, Stephen Miller and all those guys. Yeah, well, they're not. Jim, you're right. They don't really care about what Trump says anymore. He's losing that ability to scare people and to influence people. Most of Europe is against him. Canada is standing up to him. I don't know who he thinks he is anymore, but that's actually affecting his health, from what I understand. Because he's starting to lose his mind or something. I don't know. I don't think he was the brilliant tactician or uh, salesman that everybody thought he was in the beginning. He's had trouble making deals. He In the beginning, when he was in real estate, he would deal from power. He owned the property. He had you know he had everything, and the developers and everybody that were working for him didn't have anything. They couldn't deal with him, and he was strong enough to walk away, to make deals and walk away. But he operated like the mafia. He ran his businesses into the ground. I'm telling you something. The mafia never bankrupted a casino unless they wanted to. Unless it was to make some sort of money, or to put a bigger and better casino in place, which they've done a couple of times in Vegas. It's just it's a crazy situation right now with Trump in the world. You don't go up against the Pope, because the Pope isn't taking sides. He is just expressing a point of view based upon the religion. That the religion that if you go around saying you're a Christian, then you shouldn't go around. You shouldn't go around and do anything. You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. And as far as Trump's early years going, Trump was successful, but you have to understand something. In his book, The Art of the Deal, basically what he's saying is he uses other people's money to make money. He inherited, I think, $250 million from his father, and stole his brother's inheritance. which is I think another 250. I don't know, and I don't know that part of the story. But he never spent a dime of that. He still has that original 250 million. He's never spent a dime of that, and he goes bankrupt and makes money, and everybody else around him loses money. Especially the smaller you are, the more money you lose, and more you lose when you work with Trump. If you're a big time player, you're not going to lose that much money. You might lose some, but you're not going to lose a lot because he's going to come back and tell you, well, listen, I'll get you into the next project, and I'll cut you in on my half of the action. Which is what he basically did when he got elected. He ran around telling all his rich friends, "You elect me again this time, and we'll all walk away rich." That may not happen. Not the way he's playing the game now. You know. Of course, the oil company guys are sitting back counting dollars and say, "This is just ridiculous." Because you see, oil prices are based on futures. Something like 30 days or a week from now, what oil is going to cost. That's how they play that game, that commodity game. So they don't care what goes on. You know, Trump can Trump can make the futures go up. They got that money's guaranteed. They're not going to lose that money because that oil's sold at that gets sold at that price because people buy the futures, which is stupid at some point in time when it's as high as it is. It's stupid, but that's how the oil companies make money. All right, listen, I'm out of here. I was late. I'm late. I got a couple things I got to do, but I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so I should be rather normal. I know I'll discuss that. Oh, Lucy's better now. She's pretty good, by the way. In case of all you Lucy fans, uh, she hasn't peed on me in 4 days, so I'm lucky. But anyhow, I got to run, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, closer to normal time. This video could have been normal time, but I wanted to put up the other one first, just in case something happened today. All right. Okay. So everybody, take care, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.